Lehel Kürtjét. Szeretnék megtalálni ez a nagyon híres Kürt. Nagyon híres Kürt. Ezt a nagyon híres Kürtot magyar nyelv nagyon nehéz. Ma azt hiszem beszélünk English. Nem csak magyar, not just English, de English. Új stílus. Új, the mighty zárva stílus. The mighty zárva. It seems to have frozen over, although not completely. Not gonna risk walking. The mighty zárva. It begins up north in Salgótarján, in Nógrád megye, and it flows into the larger river, the Tisza, down by Szolnok. But today we are not focused on rivers, we are focused on horns. That's right, the Lehel Kürtjét. Lehel's horn. Nagyon érdekes. Arizona Steakhouse. Belszínháza, nem? Wow. Nagyon jó. Nem, mert amerikai, és azt láttam, Arizona Steakhouse, nagyon érdekes.
Nagyon, korrekt.
Te Jász ember?
Jászberény.
Nagyon örülök. Nagyon örülök.
Jászberény, igen.
Ja, népművészet ajándék.
Népművészet.
Korona üzletház.
Ezt videózd el.
Jó. Lehel Kürtjét, nem?
Igen.
Wow. Look, it's the real life Lehel Kürt. De jó, nagyon szép. Wow, Jászberényi, nagyon ügyes. Ügyes ember, Jászberényi ember. Székelykapu. Egy kaput építette Farkas család. Készítette Hamar János és fia Péter. Fényű büfé.
No?
That bird just dipped down like a knife in the butter. Mint az késvajban. Okay. Sárga templom. The Jászkun Redemptiós Emlékoszlop. The Jász, along with the Kuns, the Kumanians, came over to Hungary during around abouts the 13th century. 13. század. Amikor, vagy igazából miután átadta járás. És negyedik Béla, he needed more people to settle the land after the destruction and devastation that was caused by the Mongol invasions. Now the Jász, when they first came over, they spoke a derivative of an Iranian language known as Jászik. Today it's extinct, and they blended in quite well into the Hungarian lands. But even though the language died out around the 15th century or so, the Jász continued to maintain this singular and unique ethnic identity, the Jász identity, and it exists to this very day. The Lehel Kürtjét, szeretnék megtalálni a Lehel Kürtjét. The Jász Gymnasium. This is where all the fiatal Jászberényi go to iskola. All right, that was dumb. That's our ticket. That's our ticket to ride. Our ticket to ride, the Jász Museum. The Jász Museum, okay. But first, what is that? Fantastic lószobor, wow. Fantasztikus lószobor. Nagyon fantasztikus. Nagyon fantasztikus. És érdekes. Jászberény hivatal. The polgármesteri hivatal in Jászberény. Oh! I was hoping it would be something like this. I think that's Lehel. There he is. We found him, folks. We found Lehel, and we found his horn. There you got it. Lehel vezér. Lehel, he was alive, middle of the 10th century, and he, along with his compatriot, Bulchu, well, they stormed into a place that was forever remembered as the field of Lech, the Lechfeld, in Bavaria, the south of Germany. Oh, there it is. Please be open. Please, please, please be open. Let's see. Moment of truth. No. Fuck. Zárva. A Jász Museum. Zárva. Well, what are you gonna do? Look at this guy. He doesn't even know. The monkey's about to get his ice cream. A wizardly tree indeed.
Lehel and Bulchu were in Bavaria, with thousands upon thousands of their mighty Magyars alongside them. The year was 955. Why were they there? They were there to fight against Emperor Otto and his Germans. Emperor Otto was a mighty emperor indeed. In fact, one day the chroniclers would call him Otto the Great. But at that moment, in 955, he was not feeling so great at all. You see, he'd been spending lots of his time lately quashing rebellion. Many people said that Germany was a powder keg kingdom back then, with all of its different regions. And because of this, small disputes were constantly exploding into civil wars. Unfortunately for poor Otto, many of these wars were started by his very own family. His brothers, his nephews, his stepbrothers, and worst of all, his beloved son-in-law, Conrad the Red.
You can call me Connie.
But that was last year, in 954. And emperors don't have the pleasure of letting human emotions dictate their decisions. So Emperor Otto welcomed back his son-in-law once he'd properly apologized, which was a very good thing, because now Bulchu and Lehel and the Magyars were once again storming through Bavaria, popping up like an irritating rash at one castle after the next.
Now, when the Magyars first burst onto the scene in Europe, the Europeans had no idea what to do. They were lighter, they were faster, they were quicker, they were harder. And they would come storm into these European cities where we had these big, heavy knights who were used to their chivalrous, old-fashioned ways. And now you got these Hungarians darting and dashing and steaming along. They would go into battle, they would retreat, feign retreat rather, because they could turn in their saddles and they could shoot their lowy ass. But the real heyday for this raiding, marauding, pillaging, land Viking era, that was like the 910s to the 930s, and by the 940s, things are starting to twist and turn into the other direction. The Europeans are getting themselves together. Well, Bulchu and Lehel and the rest of the lads, they come to Augsburg. And Bulchu and Lehel are thinking, wow, we can take some nice booty here. But Augsburg, the castle, it's really more fortified than it looked at first glance. And they're having a hard time, and now, who comes in? Otto and Conrad and all the reinforcements. And even though the Hungarians had a big old crew, a big old band of warriors, the Germans, they've got a lot of defenders. They've got a whole lot of defenders. And the clash, it occurs on 9 Augustus. Or maybe 9, maybe 10, you know. O, utvan hat. Nagyon jó szám. Utvan hat. Ja. Ó, gyönyörű hely. Oké, férfi öltöző.
Igen. Itt lehet majd átköltözni.
Oké.
És itt vannak a szekrények.
Oké, fantasztikus. Köszönöm szépen.
Ott van ez majd a bejáró.
Nagyon profi tori. Ott? Nem baj, nem.
Nem. Itt a férfi zuhanyzók keresztül. Igen.
És ott?
Igen.
Jó, oké, köszönöm szépen. Szép napot.
Lehel, Bulchu, Otto, and now Conrad joined the fray, galloping in with his Franks. All of them pounding each other into the Lechfeld, which turned gruesome with guts and mud and blood. Lehel and Bulchu felt the German pincers snap as the raging river cut off any chance of strategic retreat. Finally, the day was lost. King Otto allowed Bulchu and Lehel to answer for why they had ravaged his lands so grotesquely. Well, good Otto, the thing is, Mr. Kirai, what other choice did we have? Otto acknowledged this, and as a sign of his respect, allowed Bulchu and Lehel one final request before they were to be hanged. Bulchu, too proud to accept, grimaced in silence. But Lehel responded that he would signal his coming to the afterlife with a final blow of his mighty horn. And what harm could that do, thought Otto. But as Lehel went to blow his horn, he suddenly dashed and charged to his left, bashing Conrad over the head before driving the metal-tipped point of his brutalic horn straight through the jugular of the now lifeless, limp Connie the Red, of whom the singers now no longer sang.
Everything was closed, but the further was nyitva, and all you really need is the further. All you need is love and a Gyógyfürdő. All you need is love. Köszönöm. Fantasztikus volt. Nagyon, tényleg. Imádom ez a hely. Köszi. Szia. That is all you need. Nagyon jó. Jászberény. És nem megtaláltam Lehel Kürtjét, de megtaláltam más dolgokat. Mindig. Szép estét, és viszontlátásra.
Szeretnél supportolóizni? Lehet. Patreon.com, patreon.hu, nem patreon.hu, patreon.com with Willie.